You seem to be Reformed, but seem to have a dislike for the Reformed churches. Why is that?
No, I don't have a dislike for Reformed churches. No, I struggle with some things about it. I struggle with the idea that if you meet someone from a Reformed church, you quickly know that they come from a Reformed church, and then that's the best church. So I struggle with that part. I think that God's kingdom's pretty broad. I think all of us are going to be probably pretty surprised about who we're going to see in eternity, if that is a thing even. But
what? Oh,
well, just the idea of I'm not going to start pretending to understand eternity, yeah. But I'm just saying. I'm just saying that there's a lot of saved people all over the world.
Of course.
And they're not all Reformed. And I think that when you think, and this goes for any church, this is not slagging on any denomination. I think anytime you meet somebody, and we all meet people like that all the time, and we could probably be that way. I probably am that way. If we think we've nailed something or nailed our theology, let's say, which to be fair, we know a lot of people that think they have nailed their theology.
I mean, I would have fallen into that camp and still feel like it's something to do.
Yeah. So let me turn it this way. If you would write someone off because they would leave your particular denomination, you are saying that you have nailed your theology and that exactly what you believe is the most accurate. And to me, the arrogance of that is the opposite of everything that Scripture would speak of when it comes to humility and grace. And you know what I mean? So that's why I struggle with, if it comes across ever as being, hey, these guys sound pretty angry about where they come from, that would be my bent. And that's not about where, because to be honest, actually the church that I went to as a kid is a great church. And like Marie and I always say, we could go to a lot of it. We could go there. We could go to almost any church. We could go to any Reformed churches. I'd probably be most likely to go to a Reformed church. It's more the idea of any church. And a lot of Reformed churches, I think, fall in this camp. At least in my experience, it's been when you're Dutch, you're very sure of yourself, right? And then that comes across as, we've nailed it. We got it right. And I've seen it where people, and I'm seeing it a lot now in leadership at another church, you see people come from a church completely wounded. And they didn't leave the church because they slept with somebody that wasn't their wife. They didn't leave the church because they were beating their kids or doing awful things and under church discipline. They literally just left the church. They just didn't totally agree with the theology. And then they leave there skewered. Well, when the Bible says, hey, love them as Christ loved the church, and care, and everything should be layered in love. Otherwise you're a clanging cymbal. I would challenge people that there's a lot of clanging cymbals out there. And it even, I had heard a story in the last week, like just awful, where somebody, was totally living in sin themselves and then skewering someone in their family for leaving the church. It's just like, and that's an extreme example. I know that's not often the case. Lots of times people are doing all the right things and just really unhappy, but primarily we should care for people's soul, not what church they sit in on Sunday. And my experience has been that people are a lot more concerned what denomination you go to than whether you're trusting in God and whether you're living right with Him in your daily life. So I feel pretty strongly about it. Yeah. And I don't know if that accurately sums up how you would feel, but I just, and I would hope it doesn't come across as hating on Reformed churches. It probably does. So for that, I apologize. But because obviously, like, most of my best friends go to amazing Reformed churches. I just feel like any church, whether it be the Pentecostal movement or whatever, it's like when you think we've nailed it, like, no, we can all learn something from other. Churches should be changing too. This is another thing people might disagree with me about, but I feel like everybody would agree that as a Christian, how you look and how you walk and your life should, if you're becoming more sanctified, should change. Yeah. And I have always argued, and there again, I haven't gotten into the weeds with anybody about this that probably wants to argue with me. Now they will. A church should be changing. If church has leadership and they're godly leadership and their church is growing and people are being convicted and church leadership is wrestling through things, it should be changing. Yeah. And our church has changed on really, really big things. Like we've changed, and I think that's not a bad thing. I mean, and someone would say, well, if you change, you're automatically going down the slippery slope. No, like you can be more convicted of things, of certain areas of sin or areas where you need to change. Yeah. And all churches should have that. It doesn't matter where you land on any spectrum of theology, right?
And I think John MacArthur said this. He goes, I'm probably doing a whole bunch of things wrong. I just don't know what they are.
At least he can say that. So we never grew up where that was being said ever.
And I guess the point
is that fair?
Yeah, that's fair. Okay. And I think the point I'm trying to make with that is that like we're always blind to certain things.
Yeah. It's human nature.
And our human
And we're
nature. And so
humans.
we have to be constantly examining ourselves, but then also the body we're a part of.
Yeah. So, and that goes back to what I said about people leaving her. It's like when you have someone that's brave enough to come to you to challenge you on something, even leadership or even me as a leader. It's like, first, like you may disagree and that person may be really wrong. But as a general rule, if someone's coming with some humility and love, it takes great courage as a person in the church to come forward.
Yeah.
So when that person comes and they've been convicted about this in their heart, and then they go to church leadership and say, hey, I'm wrestling with this and we're doing this and I'm wrestling with it. And then the leadership just comes down with the hammer and says like, oh, don't you dare question that. We've always done it this way. Or how, how could you, and there again, it's the flavor of how you do it. Like people can really disagree.
Well, especially
I really disagree with some people on a lot of stuff, people that I hang out with, but they're wonderful, caring people and they're pretty gracious, right? And I hope I'm coming. I mean, I'm sounding like I'm ranting. I don't like it. I gotta stop. Good question. I mean, it's unfortunate. I can see why people feel that way.
I struggle answering it because I just don't want to. Because I don't want to say, well, my it's no secret. My dad's a pastor of the inner city and stuff like that, and I grew up in that world, and I've seen it firsthand. And I also
did I say it the right way, or did I come across there as too judgmental?
That was genuine and real.
Okay. Well, I apologize if it came across as like I'm just saying, and I'm not saying it's about Reformed churches, because other denominations are like this. Like it doesn't.
No, exactly.
It's not.
It just looks different.
It could be anybody. It just looks different.
Yeah.
It's about the idea that you, as a church, community, denomination, have nailed it. And the irony to me is, having lived in two quite like very similar but yet quite different, they both are sure they're nailing it. One of them is wrong. No, guess what? Both are. And that's the humor to me. Like as a person that's, there again, now in a totally different denomination, yet I'm still part of a denomination and there's problems there. Yeah. Like, welcome to the world we live in. Like it's.
And still ranting.
Sorry?
And still ranting.
Stop, Baars. Stop.
Yeah, I don't know really exactly how to answer the question.
Can you answer the question? I've already forgotten the question.
Having listened to you guys for a while, you seem to be Reformed, but seem to have a dislike for the Reformed churches. Why is that?
Yeah. No, I would still consider myself
I'll just say I've been really hurt by a lot of things and felt like I didn't have my questions answered and felt betrayed and stuff like that. But I don't know if it's worth even to like go into those things. Maybe it is. Some people would argue that it is and like be like, hey, put everything on the table that you disagreed with. No. I don't, maybe in a private setting, I'll tell you, but no,
I probably said too much, but the question's asked, so hey.
Yeah. Okay, we are going to head into overtime. If you want to watch overtime, head over to patreon.com/furiouslycurious, or you can watch them on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Have a great week.
But I have no idea when this is coming out. Either way, thanks for watching. See you guys next week.
Take care.
Hey guys, if you enjoyed that episode and were blessed by it, would you be willing to support the show? That would help a lot in creating more content, improving the quality of the content, putting the production value, getting more guests on, and me being able to spend more time and energy towards it. So if you're interested in doing that, you can click up here and it'll take you to a support page. But you can also subscribe to the podcast by clicking over here and doing that. Thanks again for listening, and I'll catch you on the next one.